If you follow the auto industry, especially the design side of it, you've probably heard the term tumblehome. Tumblehome refers to the inward slant of a greenhouse towards the center line of the car. The term's origins are rooted in naval architecture when the side of a warship would angle inward above the ship's beam. The idea back then was to make boarding more difficult in battle by insetting the deck. It was farther away from a challenging vessel. In cars, this came about to increase the perception of interior space. And by pushing the body away slightly from the shoulders, the side window sort of kinked back in and took in an inward slope. Over the years, as vehicle widths increased, tumblehome became more and more pronounced. As the angle becomes more severe, packaging a roll-down window gets really difficult though. One production car that quite possibly had the most severe tumblehome angle of all time was the Lamborghini Countach. The upper had so much inward rake, only a small toll passage could be articulated in the side window. Pain in the butt to live with, but it looked so good. Near the end of the last century, a couple of manufacturers tried to reverse the inward trend for this movement of the roof. When Toyota introduced the XX20, that was a second generation Avalon, the pillars were moved closer to vertical in an effort to add more EPA-rated interior volume. With a weird instrument panel that was sort of buried away from eye line, most customers didn't notice the reduced tumblehome, they just couldn't see the gauges. Not surprisingly, the third generation Avalon received a more conventional upper. In 1998, Fiat decided to get into the European people mover market with something they called the Multipla. And never have weird and wonderful been woven together in such a distinctive tapestry. Rather than 3 rows of 2 seats like everybody else used in their minivans for Europe, the Multipla sat 3 across in the front row and 3 across in the second row. To accommodate this, the little van eschewed tumblehome altogether, and the result was a vehicle that looked as much like an Italian stovetop espresso maker as a car when you viewed it from behind. It was really charming. But now with side impact regulatory requirements becoming stricter and with an increased emphasis on fuel economy, cars are going to be growing wider below the beltline, and you're probably going to see roofs shrinking slightly. This is going to be done to manage the frontal area in the car, and all of this comes together to mean that tumblehome in future cars is going to be a lot more pronounced. And that means more wet and snowy seats every time you open the door in inclement weather. For Autoline Design Handbook, I'm Jim Hall.